any questions about getting started?
We've kind of worked out a plan we've had some meetings already, you know, we'll just kind of have to do it and see how it all goes, I guess, at this point. My plan is to not open, the library itself will not be open. I'm going to deliver books to the classrooms right now. I'll kind of pick and choose and deliver a tub full of books, and then of course we'll have to be doing the quarantining after they come back for and so on. So
yeah. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a template that I'll send out here if you're interested. Let's see. So they had 3 levels of being open. The red phase is you're just totally at home trying to get resources to your students and classes. And this is kind of how they looked at what they were doing. This is from the Education Department of Pennsylvania. And they put this together for their librarians, school librarians. So in the yellow phase, there's some just plain old general safety guidelines that I hope, you know, you're all thinking about. These say library staff. I know most of you, it's just you. But, you know, you're planning on wearing masks. All the touchstones of good hygiene. And that would include, you know, thinking about things like shelf markers, because with the younger kids, they use them a lot. If they're going to be in the library, you know, you don't want to have to be sanitizing all of those. Magazines, it stays on magazines on glossy for quite a while. So even up here at Great Bend, they've put away all their magazines until we get through this. All these links also have these blue links are resources for you. If you're looking for signage, thinking about if they're going to come in, are you going to have 20 kids? How are you going to keep them social distancing? With the younger kids, you know, you can put spots on the floor and that type of thing. I'm not going to read through all this, but it's really some good things to think about. How about a safety shield? Is anybody getting in front of your desk, checkout desk, a shield?
I think I'm supposed to, but of course I won't really need it until we start letting kids in. But I think that's in the plan for me to have.
Very good.
We had good luck.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So, well, I just say the classroom ones are the priority right now, you know, on the plexiglass. I think our shop teacher's making them, so
that works.
Yeah.
We've had good luck with some of our libraries that didn't have the funds for plexiglass. They went and got clear shower curtains from Dollar Tree or whatever, and then they were able to hang that around wherever their work area was that they needed it. And that seems to work pretty well. They can clean it up to a point, and then when they need to change it out, it's fairly inexpensive to change it out. So that's another option.
And if you've got scanners, it'll scan through the plastic. Okay. And that's good. So you don't have to handle, you know, all the books, or they show you what they want and it goes out. Some of these guidelines we've also learned aren't effective, like the gloves being worn by library staff. I mean, it protects you some, but it's still getting COVID all over everything if it's on there, because you would have to change every time you handled something. You'd have to change your gloves, or you're just still spreading it. So it's just as effective to wash your hands and have your hand sanitizer. You know, it's still up to you, but that's something we've learned along the way. The public libraries that we've been working with have been doing this since, a lot of them tried to open in May, I think, and they've worked around a lot of this stuff already. Have you worked out how you're going to quarantine your books?
Yeah, I think I'll have a different tub for each. I mean, each classroom will have several different tubs that I'll have to put dates on them, I guess is the only way.
Yeah.
And keep rotating them and have a place in the library where I'll just put them until the quarantine is up, and I can check them in. So you think 4 days, right?
Now they're saying 4 days, and one of the other resources I'm going to share with you is it's called the Realm Project, and is it Institute of Library Museums and something ILMS. They've gone together with a testing. What do I want to say? They're in cooperation with each other, testing different materials that are used in libraries and museums. And they've already done 2 sets, and those results are out. And there's a third one coming, I don't know how soon. But, you know, if you need to explain to somebody why things need to be quarantined, you've got some scientific evidence to go back and show them this is what the scientists are saying.
And we did see from that study that glossy paper, like in magazines, holds on to the virus for a long time, at over 96 hours. So make sure that if you have magazines or something like that, maybe not have those available for a little while. And then we also have like picture books, which are also glossy. So try at least that 96-hour quarantine if you can.
The best thing they're finding is time kills it. But, you know, sometimes you feel better about wiping a book down. There are some disinfectants that work well, and I can share those as well if you're interested in that.
I'm curious on the bins. If I was trying to think about that, if we checked them all in, put them in a bin, say for Monday, and waited till, you know, the next Monday or at least Friday to get them out, then all week they look like they're checked in. Do I need to check them out to a quarantine student? I mean, a fake student, or is that handling them all twice, or just wait to check them in until we're ready to unbox them?
Yeah.
And then they look like they've been checked out. I don't know, that's a little weird too.
We've been recommending for the public libraries to not check them in until after the quarantine, just because then it's one less time you have to handle them.
Yeah.
And so with some of the circulation systems, they're going to have like a checkout limit, and you'll just have to override it. So I know that causes a little bit of a hiccup there, but that's kind of the best option. If you want to check them in and then put them into a, like a quarantine checkout, you can, but you're going to be touching them. And so that's why we've recommended not doing that.
Okay.
Okay, this is Jan. Question. On self-checkout, they cannot check out if they have reached the limit, which for grade school students is 5 books, which after the 3rd day of checking out books, they will have reached, but the first ones are in quarantine.
Right.
Well,
so this was my question.
For this time period, you could certainly
just
say they're gonna be able to check out 10. You know that 5 of them are gonna be sitting and waiting. And I know the little kids go through books like crazy.
Oh, it's nuts.
but and doing the, like Callie's going to take a box of books, you know, in that classroom, they're going to be shared, and that kind of gives you time, you know, so that you don't have to find more books. But again, they're all handling the books within, you know, they shouldn't be taking them home or any of that, because you don't, you know, coming and going, you don't know what the kids are going to be bringing back to the classroom and to the library. So I think you're just going to have to try different things and see what you are more comfortable with.
And we can help you, Jan, with extending
Yes.
those circulation things.
I'm
And I
gonna
think
ask.
I think there's a way to do a self check-in, but I'm not sure. I haven't played with that for a while, so I don't know how well that works.
It doesn't, it works, but they don't have to have the book there. They could just click the button.
Oh, right.
So we
That's
try to
jamming this
avoid
issue.
that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
we won't set that one up then.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you have time, they have lots of options here. It's just what they decided to do and what they think will keep their staff and their students the safest. Just giving you things to think about before you have to get out there and be working with 250 kids or whatever you're going to be each week, you know. We do have some, I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing the screen. We do have some good resources. Have you been talking about ebooks and how to get those into the hands of kids? That's another way. We have lots of resources that if you're still got your 5 books and you want some more, then let's set you up with an account and you can do CKLS offers Sunflower eLibrary, and we've put a lot of young adult youth books into Sunflower eLibrary. And to check out there, each child, each teacher would need a library card, public library card. And that's how they get into Sunflower eLibrary. Hoopla also, I'm not as familiar with the children's collection there, but I'm sure there's young adult and high school things that they could use. Are you all familiar with those and plan to use them, or can we help that in any way?
I'm glad you brought that up, because or something I tried to, you know, put that info out last spring when everybody was at home, but this is a good, I'll talk to about that all with the teachers and to checking them out. I think each kid is supposed to have their own iPad is the plan, so then hopefully that would work good with
Right.
them looking at books online, and you know.
Yeah, you could definitely use the apps on those iPads.
Mm-hmm.
This is Jan. Are we still able to sign up for Sunflower and Hoopla online without going to the public library?
Mary Beth?
Yes, I'm gonna mute you there for a second, Christy. Yes, you can do a self-registration and set that up. And then it's valid for, I believe, 1 month.
Okay. Does it automatically roll over to our public library? Will, for myself, will it go to Randolph Decker and they can decide whether to make us a member or not?
It does not. What we've had for the self-registration is to set it up for CKLS as the first time, and then it tells you to go to your local library to update your account. The challenge with that is that you have to learn a new card number when you go to your own public library. You can also because of your situation as schools, we can do a batch patron setup and work with your library so it's set up through your public library. And that way, you know, you send us a list of your patrons' names and whatever information you want, and then we'd set up the accounts, and then we'd give you the numbers, and then you could go back. And that might be the most efficient way for your schools to do it, but we work with each library to do it that way, each public library.
Does that still just last 1 month when you do the batch update?
No, it would depend on each library's settings, but it would be kind of like a student account or a juvenile account, depending on how the library sets it up.
Okay.
Oh, Chrissy, you're muted.
I know that Amy in Great Bend here is willing to work to get student cards for eSunflower and Hoopla, so they'd have to have the public cards. And we're trying to figure out a good way to do it. And I think probably is we're gonna have to find out what information she needs to get them cards. And I don't know, I think the hang up might be privacy, because the schools are more in tune to that or need that in their records. So it's going to have to be maybe negotiated of what information we can gather to get them a card. So Amy Mayhill's who you need to contact. And I told her, and several of us down here could help. It'd be a big task in a big district like yours. But even in a smaller one, if you want help, I'm happy to do that. The other place you can get books, ebooks, is through the state library. And for the younger students, right now they still have the tumble books. And in fact, they have tumble books for high school, and they've extended it to September now. I don't know what's going to happen here in the next few weeks if they'll go ahead and do that, but I've checked it often and it's still intact and you can use it. There's Britannica Stacks, I think, and it has nonfiction books that can be used. And to use the materials through the state library, you have to have a state library card. And each school district does have a login. And if you don't know what it is, I can get that to you. Sometimes the easiest way to get all the kids' cards and just numbers, they just need an email address, a first, middle, and last name, and the birth date. And you put when you get all that in, it generates a new number. And so if you get it all in a spreadsheet, maybe the first or second day of school, or, you know, say we come out and sit down at lunch and sign kids up. Sometimes with the district or the school, your attendance systems, a lot of times they can download that for you, and then we can help you get cards for each child. But it's a different card than the public card. So you're having to deal with two different things.
If the teacher just gets a card, can they use it for whole class?
That's a possibility, but each account is limited to a certain amount of checkouts. So, and if you mean use it for class, there's some copyright issues that I'm like, if they're reading it as a group, or if they're watching like a movie as a group, that's some public that's some presentation issues that would violate copyright. But yes, they can use it to check out a book, but they only have like 5 checkouts. So you wouldn't be able to check everything out for one class.
Okay.
If you're, this is kind of away from that, but if you need a set of books for a classroom, there's also a place on the state library website. They've got a whole spreadsheet of public libraries that had book clubs, and then they've gone ahead and kept them, and you can order from them at no cost and say, I need 17 copies. You might have to get a hold of 3 different libraries, but I'll put that link out for you too if you're interested in that, or just call me when it happens and we'll remember to go find it. What other concerns do you have?
We have about 10% of our students doing remote from the beginning. Are other libraries checking books out to remote kids, or are they having them just do ebooks, or?
Well, you could do both. I think it's whatever you can handle. We can get that 10% the cards, and I actually, on the LibGuide for schools, which I'll send a link out, in fact, Mary Beth started us a page of helpful links that I'll give to you. I have a whole page of places to get books at no cost. So they're mostly online, and they can be read in your browser. They don't need a special app a lot of times. But you could do curbside. If they can check out from your catalog and place a hold, then you can bag it up and say, pick a day that you'll go ahead and they can come by and pick them up.
Okay.
I think you're gonna have to play with it and see how much time you have or how much help you have.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna take a lot of extra time if you're gonna be doing all this cleaning in between, and it's gonna be a try it and figure it out type situation, I'll bet.
Okay.
But yeah, that's my suggestion. Anybody else? Well, Mary Beth has put the helpful links, and you can add things there if you like. I'd look at our LibGuides. I've got one just for remote learning, and the tabs on that has, I encourage you to share with your teachers and your parents. There's a tab for resources for the teachers. The publishers have given us a lot of leeway in using books on, reading them aloud, and they have special, what do I say, not rules, but, things you have to follow to do it legally. But they're there, and a lot of authors are reading to kids. There was even an adult, young adult author who was reading her book in chapters to the older kids, or with the older kids. There's also a tab for parents. If they're, doing remote learning and they need something extra to, work with their kids with, there's some resources there, and I've just been trying to add and update and make sure that the links are there for you, working. Anybody else want to talk about anything? Are you finding your administration is listening to you and your concerns about checking out?
Yeah, I think our administration and our teachers have been really good about understanding that, I mean, and they're the ones actually who suggested bringing the books to the classroom and not having anybody in here in the library right now.
Well,
Yeah.
that's
So
great that you've got that. Yeah,
that's how it works.
yeah.
I have just decided to do and not ask. And the administration seemed overwhelmed, and I'm just not even going to go there. I'm just going to do what I think needs to be done. And if I run into problems, then I will ask for help.
Yeah, good. Well, sometimes, yeah, you tell them your plan and maybe they'll roll with it.
That's what I've done.
Good.
Yeah. They do have a lot of things on their minds. Right
Yes,
now.
I know they do. Anything that probably help them. Go ahead. I was just looking at my list here, and one of the other helpful links we've added is the CDC had a really nice checklist to send home with parents for them to think about. This is what's gonna I need to do for my child and with my child before sending them back to school, preparing them, all of the family, for what it's gonna be like, or it could be like. And it's a little long, it's probably 3 or 4 pages, but you know, if you have some uneasiness, that may help them feel prepared to send their kids back. Well, if there's anything you guys need, just holler. We'll get on it. And
if we don't know, best way for, we'll work it out with you. We'll make sure that we get you what you need.
yes.
Well, you always answer emails, so I will be sending.
Okay.
Appreciate all of your help. It's
Yes, thank you.
good to know all these resources.
And I did record this, so it will be posted as an archive as well.
Okay.
Well, I guess this is adios.